Brian Wright, Daily Beat 195. Do you or don't you? Hey, it's Brian Wright from BrianWright732.com. And I get this a lot. I get a lot of people come to me because I'm the coach. I'm the head guy. I'm the guy that, gives people the tools, whatever. But I get a lot of people come to me and they ask me questions of basically, hey, this is what I want to do. And it's not really a question as much as they're telling me, hey, this is what I want to do, or this is what I want to be, or this is what I want to become. And then the excuses start. So someone comes and says, I want to do this. And I say, good, this is what you need to do. And then they say, but. And then after that but comes the excuses. And more times than not, the excuses are internal issues that they then try and justify with logistics problems. And then, of course, I've got to come back and say, hey, do you really want to do this or don't you want to do it? Obviously, you have a desire to make changes so that you can achieve something. And you're looking to me for answers, and I gave you an answer. I told you what I think about it. And now you're coming back at me with excuses. So my question is, are you coming to me and asking me because you want me to agree with you that it's possible, or do you want me to say it's not possible and give you the out? We all do it. I do it. I've done it a ton of times in life where I go to somebody and I say I want to do something, but I'm scared that they might say, yeah, you can. Or I'm really just looking for someone to say, you know what, maybe you shouldn't do that. So then it's like, yeah, you're right. It's not just me. You see it too. When you look for that out, or are you looking for the in? Which one are you looking for? For me, I want to keep it simple. If I get a spark that gives me this thing, something, whatever, if there's some kind of inspiration that comes, and then an idea comes from that, I try and stick with that moment. So fighting, for example. If I say, I want to fight, the initial spark that gave me the desire to say, I want to do this really hard thing that I'm going to have to train a lot, that I'm going to have to sacrifice for, and I'm going to have to risk my well-being to actually implement and do, whatever drive I had in the beginning that made me want to go down that path, that's what I have to maintain when the doubt comes in. When I say, I don't think I can do this. But at some point I did think I could. Not only did I think I could, I was envisioning this grand result, this amazing experience. And then along the way, in the process, doubt can creep in and it'll make me question that. But I got to keep it simple. Instead of allowing doubt to pile on all the excuses and all the reasons why not, I have to remember the reason why. Because the why nots are not trying to stop me now. They're trying to give me the excuse if I fail to then come back and say, see, I told you. I told you I couldn't because. And that's where we get away from the reality of, okay, I had this spark. Now I want to go do. Then I go do it. And if I fail giving it everything I have, now I know I'm not what I thought I could be. I am what I am. So if I say, I want to be a professional fighter, and then I go and I fight, and I fail, but I did everything I could, I know at that moment in time, I'm not prepared to be a professional fighter. And that may be something I can accept, or maybe something that I can't accept. And that's the thing. When we get to that point where we have to really know who we are, it's really scary because it may not be who we want to be. Now, you can look at that a couple ways. You can say, okay, I learned a lesson that I'm not really prepared to be this thing that I wanted to be, or it's not really the thing I'm supposed to be. And it's kind of shine a light and saying, this is the direction I want to go. Or it may just say to you, what I want to be is not something that I am right now, but I have a road ahead that I can actually get there. At least I'm on the path. I failed today, but that failure is the experience I need to succeed tomorrow. So either way, you're going to win. You're going to know who you are. And this is where satisfaction over happiness comes in. Now, if I'm chasing happiness, I'm just chasing, for me, peripheral things to put a smile on my face. Satisfaction is a deep core thing. It's a sense of peace. It's a sense of well-being. It's a confidence. It's a strength. It's just peace. It's knowing that you did everything you could to prepare yourself, and then you executed with everything you had, and you know exactly who you are, and there's just this moment where reality is just so concrete and real that you now have a foundation to do whatever you want with. That's truly satisfying if you're evolved enough and you have a strong enough relationship with yourself that you can accept yourself for who you are in the moment. So think about this. Satisfaction or happiness? If you want to be satisfied, don't be afraid of failure. Be afraid of not giving everything you have to everything you do. Don't be afraid of who you actually are. Be satisfied that you know who you are. Don't try and find out how to be happy. Figure out how to be satisfied. That's connecting with the spark, the idea, the inspiration. That's going for it with everything you have. And then accepting whatever the outcome is. If you succeed, fantastic. Your brain and your being and your ability are all together as one, fantastic. Keep going. If you fail, it's just the reality check. It's that moment where you can create success. It's that rock solid foundation you can build upon. So failure is only a dismal, horrible thing if you fail because you didn't give it everything you have. It's only failure in a negative if you don't learn from it and give yourself experience and tools to create something better going forward. Every step is an opportunity to gain experience so the next step is better. So instead of being afraid of taking a step, be afraid that you're not putting everything you have into that step. Be afraid that you're being judgmental about yourself and your process instead of being analytical and learning along the way. Have your goal, but also be prepared that your goal may be some artificial thing that you created out of a lack of knowing. Be prepared that your goal may have to shift, not because of negativity, not because of weakness, but because your goal may have to shift because you may not physically be capable of that goal. You may not be mentally capable of that goal. It may not be something that you want in time because you've gotten more clarity due to your experience and your process. Because you've found satisfaction that's changed what outcome you want. Because in the process, you may find satisfaction, and you may understand now that satisfaction is more important than happiness. It's more important than being comfortable. It's more important than the chaos we create to give us excuses to not do. So go do, inspired by that initial spark. Reconnect with the first moment. Don't get distracted by the little bumps in the road along the way. Put everything you have into it. Give yourself that marker, that goal to work towards, and go for it. Figure out who you are in the process. Be satisfied that you now know. Take that experience, take that knowledge. Figure out if it fits into the goal that you set for yourself. Adjust your goals if you have to. But look to be satisfied. Look to be deeply connected with who you are, what you can do, what you want. That's when you become a person of value. And I think for all of us in this human condition, I think being a person of value is the only thing that matters in this world. So the only way you can provide value is by being who you really are, and by being it honestly, by accepting it, by sharing it, by putting it out to the world so that the world is better because you're the best you can be each day. That's the process. So don't be afraid to start because you're afraid you might fail. Start because failure is an option. Start because you need something to pour everything you have into so that you can figure out who you are. Do the work. Set the goals. Learn. Make progress. Figure out what your value is. Provide it to those around you. Be your best self every day. It sounds like these big, high, lofty goals. But if this is the language that we use internally, it's amazing how much farther we can get. If the language is doubt, if the language is stay comfortable, stay distracted, keep creating chaos, you go nowhere, and your level of dissatisfaction will be deep, and your happiness will be non-existent. Last thing I'm going to say on this. When you're afraid of failure, think about it this way. Whatever it is you set out you want to do. Look 20 years down the road. Do you want to be sitting there with a group of people watching someone do what you thought you wanted to do at one point? And do you want to have the ability to say, yes, I gave it everything I had and I tried to be that. And you know what? It's really fucking hard. If you failed at trying, you can say, I gave it everything I had. That is a really awesome thing. It didn't work out for me because ultimately it wasn't what I was meant to be. It wasn't what I had the skills to do. But you can be honest about it and you can share that experience. Or do you want to be the negative person that's sitting there saying, well, if I just worked a little harder, I could have been that guy? Because you're not talking to other people at that point. You're lying to yourself. You're trying to change and you're trying to say, nah, it's okay, but it's really not. Do you want to look back and say, I did everything I could? Or do you want to look back and say, I wish I did more? I hope you look back and you say, I did everything I could, and I'm happy to know exactly what I was at that time because that's informed me to be who I am right now. All right? So, this is Brian Wright. This is the Daily B. I am out.